Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Alright, today I'm going to be sharing some of the items that have sold in June of 2025. And this is just some of the items. This is not all of them. But if you enjoy watching this type of content, please give me a thumbs up. And please feel free to comment. And I would love it if you would subscribe as well. So the first item I'm going to be sharing is this vintage Napco anthropomorphic snail planter Japan Kwai mid-century kitschy pink. And I actually got this from a thrift store and I paid about 75 cents. It's a little dirty in there. I paid about 75 cents for this, and I did have it priced up pretty high. Definitely got a lot of likers. It seems this particular snail and ones that look very similar to it were listed for pretty high. But I always have best offer on and coupons and all that cool stuff. So this snail, I think somebody sent me an offer, or either I sent them an offer, but it sold for $30, and I bought this for 75 or 79 cents, and it sold within less than a month. So definitely would keep your eyes open for this cute little thing, because, or weird, I guess, because it is worth some decent little money. Item is this St. John women's size 12 navy white striped sheath dress, sleeveless, nautical. Um, First of all, definitely not the best picture here. I'm not quite sure what happened. I don't know if I need to clean my lens off, whatever, but there was nothing wrong with this dress. It was in pretty good condition. I got this dress from the bin, so probably paid a couple of bucks for it. There's only one other dress listed like this, and they wanted like around $200 for theirs. So I tend to price my items under what everybody else has theirs listed for, just because I like the fast flips. But not all the time, because I do take a lot of other things into consideration, such as like the size and the condition and that type of stuff. So this came from the bins, and so only a couple bucks into it, and it sold for a best offer of $75, and it sold within like a couple of weeks of having it listed. So super quick flip. Is this a Topica Clylo? I'm not even gonna try to say that. Advertising plush stuffed animal dog. It was 8 inches. I bought this for probably like 50 cents or a dollar, and I have had it for quite some time. Probably like 6 to 8 months, honestly, but it did sell for $16. Is this Adora baby doll with brown hair, um, and wearing a lavender striped dress? I got this baby doll from the bins, and I probably have like a couple of bucks into it, maybe like $2 or $3 if I had to guess, since it's based on weight. And I've had this for probably close to like 3 to 4 months. But it did sell for $20. Something that I find pretty often, I guess, is Barbizon, vintage Barbizon. This is a pajama nightgown shirt, top pink, lace embroidered, size large. I actually got this at a church thrift store, and I paid about $2 for it. You can see the size tag. It's pretty worn, so I had to go off of measurements. This item was actually, the buyer actually sent me a return request for this, but I actually, I accepted it. I don't have returns on my store, which I need to change that. It probably would be beneficial. Maybe I would make more sales if I did that. Um, but yeah, but I do tend to accept most returns anyways, reasonable ones. And I can understand this one. I had it as pink, but it is actually probably more of a peach color. And the buyer did say that. They said this was not pink, it was peach. So I did accept their return request, and I sent them a free label. However, they never sent me this item back. So, eBay, I guess, gave me this in my favor, where they never received their refund and I never received the item. So just case closed, I guess, on that. Is this vintage Main Joy crying koala plush stuffed animal with blanket. I believe I thrifted this from like the regular thrift store, probably like the Haven Attic. So I probably paid like maybe a buck or two for this. And yes, I probably paid like $1 and it sold for $18. And this plush did take about probably like a month to sell, a month to, I would say under 2 months. So it didn't take too long to sell it. I think some people, oops, why did I zoom to the eye? Some people had theirs priced at like $40. So yeah, but it's what it is selling for, not what it's listed for. That's important. Old Navy women's skirt, size small, white striped tiered cotton midi boho cottagecore. Um, I got this from a church thrift store and I paid $2 for it. It did get a lot of attention, like when I first listed it, and it did sell for $18. And it took about under 2 months to sell. This vintage Liz Wear women's button-down denim maxi skirt, size 6, cotton, lace-up back. I think this item was like originally like altered because it had like these what do I want to call it? Like a lace-up detail in the back, and it just looked like it was just, altered to kind of, be smaller or whatever. But it did sell for $28, and I paid $2 for this at a church thrift store. But it did take about 4 to 5 months to sell. Vintage Y2K Gap men's orange cargo snow shorts, size small, Gorp Core Tech outdoor hiking. I'm actually not sure if this is considered Gorp Core, but that's what I put. I think it is. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was vintage, and I actually paid 50 cents for this at a thrift store that was having all their clothing for 50 cents. So this sold like the same day or the next day that I listed it. So it sold super fast, even with it being a size small. Rockaware yellow navy track shirt jacket, extra large, full zip embroidered, 19.99, and had like the little logo. I paid $2 for this, and it did take probably about 9 months to sell. So it took a little bit of time to sell, but it did sell for $30. I think the buyer sent me that offer. I believe I just accepted it because I've had it for some time. So yeah, Juniors, Angels, jeans, size 5, skinny fit, dark wash, bling Y2K style denim. I got this from the bins. I was on my way to checkout and I saw that somebody had it just, hanging over the bin. Maybe somebody thought it was cute. You ever go to the bins and see people, I guess, where somebody has found something interesting. So instead of just, it getting caught up with the rest of the items or whatever, they lay it across the bin or over it rather. So I just saw this. It was in really good condition, even with it being super small. I did decide to pick it up. So I probably paid a few bucks for it considering its weight, and it did sell within a week for $19. This vintage Florida State University baby overalls, size 3 to 6 months. Creative Knitwear was the brand, and I put FSU. I had this one for a bit too, probably like maybe close to 6 months as well. Um, which I was actually shocked because I thought it was super cute, even though it was a little faded considering, its age and stuff. So I paid 50 cents for this and it sold for $18. Patagonia sweater women's size medium blue, better quarter zip, hiking outdoor fleece. I actually just found another one of these at a thrift store, but it was in pretty rough condition. So I got this from the bins. I probably paid maybe $2 to $3 for it, considering the weight, and it sold for $22, and it sold within like a week or two. So super fast. I still do pick up Patagonia if it's in good condition. I just pick it up and I price it low. BCBG Maxiria bell sleeve mesh top, v-neck whimsical fairy empire waist, size large is Y2K. I got this at a church thrift store, so I paid like probably like a buck or two for it, and I've had it for a little while, but I just never listed it. I actually I actually used to do like Posh shows, but I just wasn't like consistent with it, so it just kind of sat like in that bin with the Posh show clothing. So I didn't actually have it listed. So, but once I listed it, it sold fairly quickly, so within like a month or less. So yeah, I paid $2 and it sold for $16. Vintage Baby Begosh by Oshkosh, pink stripe bubble romper, size 6 to 9 months, vest back, USA. I put read because it did have several stains on it. I tried stain treating it and letting it sit for a while, but those stains would not come out. Paid about 50 cents for it and it sold for $18 and it did sell within a few days of me listing it, even with those condition issues. Raiment Fashions black red floral sequin maxi slip dress, size medium, boho, strappy, Y2K. I thought this dress was absolutely beautiful. It did have some condition issues at the end. I think it was like some tiny little holes, but it was at the very end, so nobody's going to notice that. Plus it was vintage. Definitely did not take like the best picture. I think something like this should just probably be like hung up or on a mannequin. Or if you're gonna flat lay it like I did, definitely want to make sure that it's like a more straighter look. And mine was just kind of going everywhere. But it did get a lot of attention. And this sold for I paid $4 for it and it sold for $32 and it sold within a month of me having it listed. Next is this stainless flatware set, forks, knives, spoons, ladle, 41-piece lot, made in Japan. I don't think this had like an actual brand name on it. But I did go ahead and pick it up and I paid about I think $4 or $5 for the bag of the silverware. And it sold for $27, so for my asking price. And it took a couple of months to sell, but I do pick up silverware if it's in good condition, especially like, a certain brand. People pull on flare denim jeans, blue stretch, medium wash, size 24. Actually got this from uh what is it called? I just said it, Poshmark. And they were not my size, so I did decide to list them. I got these for myself, and yeah, they did not fit. So I originally like she originally sold these to me for $5, like in a Posh show, but then she threw in like another pair exactly the same, but they were black. So and she threw those in for free. So instead of being $5, I considered maybe I paid like 250 for it. But these sold for $25 and they took like 4 months to sell. Is this vintage Disney Winnie the Pooh and Tigger diaper lunch bag set with a changing pad. I got this at the Haven Attic thrift store and I paid $5 for it. It got a lot of attention, even with like the condition issues that it had, but it was vintage, super adorable, and it sold for $25, and that was in under a month of it selling. This is vintage 90s Disney Lion King Simba t-shirt, red youth size 4T. It was single stitch. It did have some condition issues, but I got this from the bin, so I paid like probably, I don't know, maybe 50 cents, definitely probably under a buck because it's super lightweight. Got a lot of attention. I definitely not overpriced, but definitely underpriced this. Like, what? Why did I sell it for $20 when I could have got definitely closer to $40? You just gotta hold out for the right buyer. But they did only sell in a couple of weeks and they sold super fast. They should have sold super fast. I keep saying they. It sold super fast for $20. Vintage 1979 Park City, Utah baby t-shirt, skiing gnome, graphic souvenir, blue, 12 inches, because it didn't have the size tag, so I had to measure it at like a regular thrift store, and it was 75 cents, and it sold the same day for $13. It's a Cynthia Rowley New York Sleeper color blue with pink floral, size extra large. That's kind of a weird title. But yeah, I picked this up, with it being my first time picking up clothing, and I just thought Cynthia Rowley was something at the time. So I've had this for like a year. And it sold for $12 and I paid $2. More silverware. This is Cambridge, the frosted handle, teaspoon, and place spoon. I paid I think $1 for both of these, and it sold, within a couple of months for $15. And it was in pretty good condition for these two spoons. These vintage Christmas ornaments. They were like crown shaped, and one was like more of a gold tone, the other one's purple. They had some glitter on them, so just super cute and vintage. I paid, I believe, like $1 for the both of them, maybe 50 cents. I think they were actually priced at a quarter each. So I got these at a church thrift store, and these sold for $12. Next three items is actually in a bundle sale. This person came in and they bought this Lululemon Poncho Women's Athleta wrap one size. This was in great condition. I paid $4 for it at a regular thrift store, and they bought this for $35. They also bought this Bishop Young blanket sweater, size small, and I paid also $4 for this, and this sold for $26. And then lastly, they came in and bought this beautiful Lafayette 148 New York Ruxton sequin shirt or blouse. The color was teal, it was a button up, and I did put glam as a keyword, and they offered me $50. So for each one of the prices that they sold for was the offer that the buyer sent to me, and I did just go ahead and accept it. So, and I got positive feedback from that as well. All right, so that is it for this what sold in June. This was not all the items, but just some of the items that I just wanted to share. If you enjoyed watching this video, please, please, please consider subscribing, giving me a like, and comment what was your favorite item that I sold.